What's up, people? It's your man, General Tomahawk, and I'm back with another episode of how I became General Tomahawk. And in today's motivation lesson, I'm going to tell you what you can learn from Michael Jackson. Now, Mike, popularly known as the king of pop or just plain the king of music, has been gone for a while now, and we've all had quite a bit of time to assess and process his legacy. And I know he had some struggles towards the end, like the last part of his career might not have been as distinguished as early on, um, but there's still a whole lot of lessons and motivation that you can take away from the life of the king of music. So let's get right into it. Um, One of the big lessons that you can take away is simply get into your craft at the earliest possible opportunity. If you are gonna decide you wanna be a football player, if you're gonna decide you wanna get into basketball, you want to get into nursing, you wanna become a doctor, you wanna become an entrepreneur, you wanna become a businessman, or you wanna be an online marketer. Any of these things, get into it, make a decisive move into it at the earliest opportunity, and don't spend a lot of time going from thing to thing to thing to thing, um, because that will, and you get really good by getting into it as soon as you can and spending a lot of time in it. When you look at Michael's career, how he became so good, he started out as a very young kid. I was just impressed the other day watching video of young Mike, and he was the youngest of his brothers, with his brothers on stage, and they're all playing guitars and bass guitar, and they're all singing. But the important thing is, young Mike, as young as he was the one they trusted to be the lead singer, and he was the one that was singing the lead vocals, and all his brothers were backing him on vocals and playing instruments. But young Mike really was the star of that show. They were all stars, but he was like the superstar of that show. So that's the thing, is never be afraid to go in and make a fool of yourself. And you might get it wrong a lot of the time because you simply don't have the experience when you go into it. But that's how you craft your talent. The next thing is, don't be afraid to become the superstar in whatever you're doing. And you can see it with young Mike. From that age, he went on and with the Jacksons, but then also as a solo artist, and he was just willing to stage some of the biggest spectacles in the world of music that the world of music has ever seen. And he was able to create the kind of art that had a really huge impact. Yet another big lesson is, don't be afraid to experiment. When you look at Mike's career, one of the things that impressed me the most is just how he was able to not just be a pop musician, he was that of a pop singer, but he was able to span genres in the kinds of stuff he was doing. Like, he was able to be a pop singer, but then he was also able to sing R&B. He was able to do some songs that were hard rock. He was able to do all kinds of different things. He was able to be a great dancer and to introduce some really unique, iconic dance moves that live on to this day, and that he still has a huge following and left a huge impact on the world of music and art and self-expression. And you cannot really do that if you're not willing to experiment. Now, another big lesson, a key takeaway is, no matter what you're trying to do, you gotta follow an approach where you really dedicate yourself to your craft, and you want to become the best in the world at your craft. Take that approach, and that approach will lift you higher and higher. It doesn't matter what field, what industry you're in, whether you are in the internet marketing industry, whether you are in banking or you are in athletics, you're a sportsman. But when you go out there to get as good as you can at your craft and become the best in the world at your craft, then you can really reach the pinnacle. Look at Mike, but not just him. Look at the other great stars: Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson. They were all willing to work extremely hard and become really, really good at their craft. And that's what made them so good. So with that, that concludes the lessons that you can learn from Michael Jackson. But these are by no means all of them. There's a whole lot more. General Tomahawk, out.